Hey everyone, so today I figured I'd do something a little different. I'm going to try and carve a clothes peg, which I've seen around online, and I've never done one before. I think I tried one time. It didn't turn out anything like I wanted, but that was a while ago. So this is really the first time I'm going to try and do this design. It's good for, like, I know some people use them as bag clips, or you could use them as clothespins. Probably a lot of usages, but basically I'm going to start with trying it on a stick, and all I've done so far is used a pruning saw to cut a slot, and then after I cut the slot with the pruning saw I drilled a hole, and I did that on 3 sticks, and then I also did this on this piece of cherry wood here, and I figured I'll start with the stick, and all I'm going to use is this pocket knife. I don't even know I've had this. It's a Leatherman. Had this for a while, and a Mora 106. And I figured I've always been curious how people do this, and there's no really good videos that I could find anyway, and not a whole lot of in-depth explanation out there. But I did read a couple different places that people start with cutting the slot, drilling the hole. So I'm starting there, and I'm just going to try it out. I'll probably try this a few times, and you can learn from my mistakes, what to do, what not to do, and yeah. So. Here's what I'm starting with, and I'm thinking just ahead of time, probably going to use my knife a lot to thin out the inside. I'm going to use it to keep like chip bags closed, so it doesn't need to be super skinny. Probably needs to be wider at the bottom so that it has an easy time going over the bag of chips, or I even think of like a bag of coffee beans would be a good example of what this could be used for. And I think I'm not going to expect a whole lot of flexibility out of it. And yeah, I think that's probably all I really need to plan for, and then at the end I can figure out probably a lot of options for what I do at this end. But I guess if I were to draw up a plan, what I have right now is something like this, right? With this, that's what I've got cut out of it, and I'm probably going to then open this up a little bit, and then probably also I'd probably do something, cut this out, round this off, so that ends up looking that's probably not the best drawing, but that's probably what my end product, what the goal is, what it's going to look like. So anyway, let's give it a go. I'm going to start with the pocket knife just to see how simple I can make it, because I know not everyone, Mora 106 pocket knife. I don't know, I feel like a lot of people have pocket knives. So let's see, I'm just going to start by widening this. And I think the real feature that makes this is going to make this doable is making it wider at the bottom of the slot, because I think if I tried to keep the whole thing skinny, or make the whole thing too wide, then there'd be no purpose, right? So here's another thing I'm going to do. I'm going to rest this on this. I have a cutting mat. What is on? If you're outside, you can use a log or a board. That's another reason I like my Mora knife to be just a little sharper than my average pocket knife. So that's another reason I'm not using the Mora knife right now. I do think the Mora knife is a little skinnier on the tip, so I might be able to be a little bit more agile. This is actually working out pretty well. Like I said, the only one I've done was a long time ago. I didn't think through it very much, and it didn't turn out like what I wanted. So this is really my first attempt at doing something like this. Then I don't think I'm gonna keep the bark on. I don't know. Maybe that's a decision I'll regret or do differently next time. But this is also a really dry stick. I don't think it would is this dry originally? When I first cut it down, I was planning on doing this. I procrastinated just a little bit. I think this is maple. So I'm already thinking if I'm going to do this again, wouldn't hurt to start with a wider stick. This one, almost an inch in diameter. I'd probably go with a little over an inch. I don't know. I'm saying that now, but still got a ways to go. I will say the nice thing about this being dry already is it's managing to come off pretty smooth already. I guess if it was wet, I'd have to wait to do finishing cuts if I wanted a nice clean surface. But alright, so let's kind of take a minute to examine. Nice. I don't know, first time doing this, so clean that up. You can see that I drilled the hole right at the top, which I'm already thinking next time, make sure that there's nothing left in there, so you can see there's, maybe didn't make the, okay, let's see. I'm kind of liking this method. Actually, that works pretty good. I was having a tough time kind of, if you're going down, so I'll do it from the top of you. If you're taking the blade and trying to go down, it's really hard to twist the knife to get your bevel to cut in. But I'm realizing if you go like this, right, at least right now, you know, I already spent a little time, but widening it out. This is like working really well. If someone has a better method, I'd love to know. The only reason I decided to make this video starting from my first attempt is because when I looked up there, I saw no videos at all. So I figured maybe it would be helpful for someone to be able to watch the whole process. Okay, so I think I'm going to, just to make it look a little cleaner, something like that. Trim around the edge. Also, another thing, I don't know if you can tell this one, but when I drilled the hole, I swung the drill around to try and widen the holes on the outside, but not as much on the inside. So I don't know if there's an advantage to that, but it's what I did. I also just used the bit that was currently in the drill. Alright, so right now I'm just trying to, there's some loose fibers in there. We'll see. So that might be an advantage to using like the more knife, because with a skinnier tip, probably can get in, do a lot more stuff. Alright, so let's see. facets on the outside here. And you know, I'm not a sandpaper user when it comes to hand carving things. This is an item though where I would consider using sandpaper, even just to rub on the inside. You know, you can see it's rough in there. I would consider that. Doesn't matter if you do or don't use sandpaper, but I'm just thinking, as a person who usually doesn't, this is a situation where I'm thinking maybe I would. I don't know. This is actually a little easier than I thought it would be. So I hope, if you're like me and you are hesitant to try this without learning too much, because I usually like to watch a couple people or hear from a few people who do it, and there's just no one out there. So I hope if you're like me, I hope you decide, maybe after watching this video, you decide it's just worth trying. I think the thing I wasn't sure about was the sawing the notch and drilling the hole. I really wanted to do it all with hand tools, and I wasn't so sure about using a power electronic drill, but I suppose if you were really hardcore, you could use hand crank drill. So now I gotta decide, do I keep the bark on some of this? Oh, there's definitely flexibility now, a little bit. You could carve all sorts of fancy designs on the top of this if you really wanted to. I've already got a couple thoughts. You could definitely corals, something at the top. But I'll save that for another time probably. Wow. Tell you what, dried out maple, not a joke. The workout my hands are getting right now. Tell you that this is definitely one of my favorite pocket knives. It holds an edge like no other. So it's great for like stuff like this, where I know this maple would do a work on my Mora knife, and I'm like, I don't know if I want to do that. Well, this one, the bevel is not as steep, so it holds up a lot stronger. Then you can always finish up with the Mora. Alright. So, you know, like I said, first time trying one. I don't have any design ideas. I guess that'll be the next thing. I don't know if the stick is better. Probably what I would do is then just wrap this up by definitely some rules against these moves I'm trying out. we go. Opens it up a little bit more at the bottom. You know, I've been trying to not use the Mora 106, and I think I could continue on with the pocket knife, but just look at this. Look how much easier it is now. So I'd say probably doesn't matter how wide the base of the back clip is. Right, you want it to be able to go over stuff easy. You don't want to be like threading a needle every time you go to put something in your bag of chips. You'll just eat all the chips. There you go, a little rough. So the rest is all cleanup stuff. I mean, at this point I'm just making it look pretty. So I don't know, I'd say grab a saw, grab a stick, grab a drill, make it happen. Way easier than I thought it would be. Now I just gotta think about how to make them look maybe a little fancier, maybe a little design. Little wood burning, little label. If I was going to take the bark off, I'm keeping the bark on this one just because, I mean, made out of a stick, might as well look like it's made out of a stick. You see how the Mora gets in there so much easier. I think if I made this and used my Mora from the onset, things would happen a little quicker. This is the first one though, so nothing's ever, you know, when you learn to make something the first time, it's a lot of observation. Gets a lot quicker as you go on. But I think that's about it. I don't know. I probably will clean up by this gap just a little bit. But that's it. Let me know what you think. If you like this one, I'm probably going to make another video about this or two while I learn. Just talk through my thoughts, share what I know. And if you like videos like this, check out my other ones. I do a lot of just talking through my process. When I was learning to make stuff, I just like to watch videos and carve along. So maybe you're one of those people, okay? If you want to subscribe, hit that subscribe button, and thanks for watching.